Sol stood at the entrance of the Galactic Defense Academy, his heavy bag hanging from his shoulder. The building was huge, with tall crystal towers that reached into the purple sky. He took a deep breath of the artificial air from his personal breathing device. Even after 3 months of space travel, he still wasn't used to it. The other students walked past him, their bodies floating gracefully in the low gravity. Sol watched them with interest. Some had skin that sparkled like diamonds, others seemed to be made of colored gas, and a few looked like walking trees. Among all of them, he was the only human, the only Deathworlder. A screen on the wall showed his name and room number. Cadet Sol, Earth, room 2187. He walked toward the dormitory building, his footsteps heavy against the floor. The artificial gravity was set to 1/3 of Earth's gravity to accommodate the other species, but his strong Earth muscles still made him move differently from everyone else. As the door to his room slid open, Sol saw his new roommate. Du-Yun was a crystalline being, his body made of clear, purple crystal that caught the light and split it into beautiful patterns on the walls. Du-Yun turned to face Sol, his crystal body making a soft chiming sound as he moved. "Hello," Du-Yun said in perfect standard Galactic. "You must be the Earth human." His voice sounded like gentle wind chimes. "Yes, I'm Sol," he replied, putting his bag down carefully. He had already broken 3 chairs in the space station during his journey here. Everything in space seemed so fragile to him. Du-Yun floated closer, curious but keeping a safe distance. "I've never met a Deathworlder before. Is it true that you can lift 10 times your body weight and survive in toxic environments?" Sol smiled. "Those are just stories. I can only lift about 3 times my weight, and Earth has clean air now. Though I guess our planet would still be considered toxic by galactic standards." Their conversation was interrupted by a loud announcement. All first-year cadets report to the main hall for orientation. The main hall was filled with hundreds of beings from across the galaxy. Sol sat down carefully in a specially reinforced chair. On stage, Academy Instructor Minho, a being made of swirling energy contained in a humanoid force field, began to speak. "Welcome to the most prestigious academy in the galaxy," Minho said. "You are here because you represent the best of your worlds. This year is historic as we welcome our first cadets from high-gravity worlds, including Earth." Many eyes turned to look at Sol. He sat straight, trying not to show how uncomfortable he felt. On the giant screen behind Minho, images of Earth appeared: storms, volcanoes, earthquakes, and dangerous wildlife. Several cadets gasped. While some may question the wisdom of accepting students from such hostile environments, Minho continued, "We believe diversity makes us stronger. All of you will learn from each other." After the orientation, Sol checked his schedule on his datapad. His first class was Interspecies Communication and Safety Protocols. As he walked to class, he overheard other students talking. "Did you know humans need to eat every few hours? And they sleep lying down completely unconscious. I heard they can break bones and heal them, break their own bones. They drink liquid water, actually put it inside their bodies." Sol sighed. He had expected this, but it still felt strange being treated like some kind of space monster. At least his test scores were good. Top marks in theoretical studies, even if everyone thought his species was primitive. Back in his room that evening, Du-Yun was full of questions. Unlike the others, he seemed genuinely interested rather than scared. As Sol explained about Earth and humans, he realized something important. Maybe being different wasn't so bad. After all, he wasn't here to fit in. He was here to prove that humans deserved their place among the stars. That night, as he lay in his reinforced bed, Sol looked out the window at the strange stars. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he was ready. After all, he came from Earth. If his ancestors could survive ice ages and prehistoric predators, he could handle a few years at an alien academy. even if everyone thought he was the most dangerous being on campus. 3 months had passed at the Galactic Defense Academy. Hansol stood in the large assembly hall with the other first-year cadets. Today was the announcement of the annual survival training exercise, a crucial test for all students. Instructor Minho's energy form glowed brighter as he addressed the crowd. Today, you will be divided into teams of 4. Each team will spend 5 days on a training planet. Your goal is simple: survive and work together. Hansol noticed the worried looks from his fellow students. Even simple survival exercises scared most of them. Their homeworlds were safe, controlled environments. The idea of being outside in raw nature frightened them. The large screen displayed the team assignments. Hansol read his team members' names. Du Yun, his crystalline roommate. Jia Yun, an atmospheric dweller who looked like a beautiful blue cloud. And Yu Jin, a silicon-based being with smooth metallic skin that changed colors with her emotions. Team 47, please report to Transport Pod C, the computer announced. Hansol and his teammates walked to their assigned pod. Jia Yun floated beside him, her cloud-like form swirling with anxiety. I heard you're good at survival skills, Jia Yun said softly. Her voice sounded like a gentle breeze. On my world, we never touch the ground. Everything happens in the upper atmosphere. Yu Jin's skin flickered between green and yellow, showing her mix of hope and worry. My people live in computer systems. We only used physical forms for interacting with other species. The transport pod was small but comfortable. As they entered, Du Yun's crystal body created rainbow patterns on the walls. At least we have a Deathworlder on our team, he said cheerfully. Hansol can protect us from anything dangerous. Hansol smiled, but before he could respond, the pod's door closed. A mechanical voice spoke. Destination: Training Planet KKX 291. Estimated travel time: 30 minutes. Through the pod's window, Hansol watched the academy grow smaller. He studied the information screen about their destination. Something seemed wrong. The numbers for gravity, temperature, and atmospheric pressure didn't match any of the usual training planets. That's strange, Hansol said, pointing to the screen. These readings are more like an industrial mining world than a training ground. Jia Yun floated closer to look. Her cloud form condensed with concern. The atmospheric composition is all wrong. It's full of toxic gases. The pod suddenly shook violently. Red warning lights flashed. The computer voice returned. Warning: navigation system malfunction. Emergency landing protocols engaged. Yu Jin's skin turned pure white with fear. This isn't supposed to happen. Training missions have safety controls. Hansol quickly checked the emergency equipment locker. Inside, he found 4 survival suits, basic tools, and emergency rations. Everyone, put on a suit now, he ordered. Something's wrong, and we need to be ready. The pod shook again as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Through the windows, they could see a dark, rocky landscape covered in strange, metal structures. Thick, greenish clouds filled the sky. Those are mining towers, Du Yun said, his crystal form vibrating with tension. This is an active mining colony. The pod's computer sparked and went dark. They were falling faster now, heading toward a cluster of damaged buildings. Hansol saw blast marks on some structures. This wasn't just a mining colony. It was one that had been attacked. Brace for impact, Hansol shouted. He grabbed a support beam with one hand and Jia Yun's containment vessel with the other. Du Yun anchored himself to the floor, while Yu Jin integrated herself into the pod's wall. The pod crashed through the toxic atmosphere, its heat shields barely holding. What should have been a simple training exercise was turning into something much more dangerous. As they plummeted toward the surface, Hansol realized all his survival training on Earth was about to become very real, not just for him, but for his team's survival. The transport pod's emergency systems activated at the last moment, softening their crash. They landed hard in a small valley between 2 massive mining towers. The impact sent dust and debris flying everywhere. Han Sol checked his team first. "Is everyone all right?" he asked, his voice steady despite the situation. Jia Yun's clouded form swirled inside her protective container, but she was intact. Du Yun had a small crack in one arm but remained functional. Yu Jin emerged from the pod's wall systems, her metallic skin showing strips of orange and red from stress. "The pod's communication system is completely dead," Yu Jin reported after connecting to it. "We cannot call for help." Han Sol looked through the pod's reinforced windows. The sky was dark green with toxic clouds. The ground was black rock covered in strange, glowing minerals. Broken machinery and equipment lay scattered around them. Some pieces had large burn marks. "This colony was attacked recently," Han Sol said, examining their surroundings. "Those aren't just normal damage marks. Those are plasma weapon burns." Du Yun moved to the window, his crystal body reflecting the eerie green light from outside. "The pirates must have come for the rare minerals. This region is famous for them." A sudden sound made them all freeze. It came from beneath them, a faint tapping noise, following a distinct pattern. "That's a distress signal," Jia Yun said, her cloud form condensing with excitement. "It's using old Galactic mining code. There are survivors underground." Han Sol checked the readings on his survival suit. The air outside was highly toxic, filled with gases that would kill most species instantly. The gravity was 3 times stronger than at the Academy. The temperature was hot enough to melt some metallic life forms. "The survivors must be in the underground bunkers," Du Yun said. "Mining colonies always have emergency shelters below ground." Yu Jin connected to the pod's database. "The bunkers have limited air supply," she reported, her skin turning pale blue with worry. "If the attack happened 3 days ago as the evidence suggests, they may only have 2 days of breathable air left." Han Sol looked at his team. On their training planet, they should have been practicing basic survival skills. Instead, they were facing a real crisis. The conditions outside would kill most galactic species quickly. But Han Sol was from Earth, a death world. His body could handle the gravity. His survival suit could protect him from the toxic air for several hours. "I can go outside," Han Sol said. "My suit and Earth-evolved body can handle these conditions. We need to find the bunker entrance." "You can't go alone," Jia Yun protested. "The pirates might come back, and the toxic atmosphere will eventually get through even your suit." Han Sol smiled. "That's why we'll work together. Each of us has different strengths. Du Yun, your crystal body can refract light to signal the survivors. Jia Yun, you can analyze the air composition to find safe paths. Yu Jin, you can interface with any working computer systems we find." A loud explosion in the distance made the ground shake. The pirates were still on the planet, destroying evidence of their attack. The team had to act fast. "We're not trained for this," Du Yun said, his crystal form vibrating with nervous energy. "This is way beyond a survival exercise." "No," Han Sol replied, checking his suit's seals one last time. "This is exactly what we're trained for. We're Galactic Defense Cadets. Protecting others is our duty, no matter the risk." The tapping from below continued, growing weaker. Somewhere under their feet, fellow beings were running out of time. Han Sol opened the pod's emergency locker and began distributing equipment. Their survival training was about to become a real rescue mission. The team gathered in their damaged transport pod, studying a holographic map that Yu Jin had managed to create from the pod's damaged database. The underground bunker's location blinked as a red dot on the map, nearly half a kilometer away through dangerous terrain. "Academy protocol is clear," Du Yun said, his crystal form dimming with concern. "In emergency situations, cadets must stay with their transport and wait for rescue." His crystalline fingers traced the path to the bunker, creating small rainbow patterns on the map's surface. Han Sol watched another explosion in the distance, much closer this time. The pirates were systematically destroying the mining colony, working their way toward their location. The tapping from underground continued, but it was getting weaker. Jai-Yun floated anxiously in her containment vessel. "I've analyzed the air again," she said. "The toxic gases are getting worse. The survivors in the bunker might have less time than we thought. Maybe only 24 hours of breathable air left." Yu-Jin's metallic skin shifted to a deep purple of frustration. "Our emergency beacon is working, but the toxic atmosphere is blocking the signal. Even if the Academy realizes we're missing, they won't find us quickly enough to save the survivors." Hansol stood up and walked to the pod's window. Outside, the harsh landscape reminded him of pictures he'd seen of early Earth mining operations. His great-grandfather had been a rescue worker in the deep mines of Korea. Those rescuers never waited for permission when lives were at stake. On Earth, Hansol began, turning to face his team. "We have many stories about rescue missions. Times when people had to choose between following rules and saving lives." He paused, looking at each of his teammates. In those stories, the real heroes always chose to help. "But we're just cadets," Du-Yun protested, though his crystal form brightened with interest. "We're not trained for real rescue operations." Hansol walked to the equipment locker and began laying out their supplies. "Look at what we have. Look at who we are. Each of us has abilities that make us perfect for this mission." He pointed to Jai-Yun. "You can analyze air composition instantly, finding safe paths through the toxic gases." His finger moved to Du-Yun. "Your crystal body can refract emergency signals through the atmosphere." Finally, he turned to Yu-Jin. "And you can interface with the colony systems, giving us access to crucial information." "What about the pirates?" Jai-Yun asked, her cloud form swirling with worry. "They're getting closer." "That's why we need to move now," Hansol replied. "The pirates think they've destroyed everything. They won't expect survivors, and they definitely won't expect cadets from the Academy." The team fell silent, considering their options. Another series of taps came from underground, weaker than before. It was a child's signal now, asking for help in the old mining code. Yu-Jin's skin turned a determined gold color. "I've accessed what's left of the colony's computer systems. There are 32 life signs in the bunker. 7 of them are children." Hansol picked up his survival suit helmet. "We're not choosing between following rules and saving lives. We're choosing between being cadets and being defenders. That's what the Academy is training us to become." Du-Yun stood straighter, his crystal form glowing brighter. "My structure can withstand the gravity. I will go with you. I can guide us through the toxic clouds." Jai-Yun added, her cloud form becoming more focused and determined. "And I can hack the remaining security systems," Yu-Jin said, her skin now shining with bright, confident copper tones. Hansol smiled as he sealed his helmet. Their survival training was about to become something much more important. They had made their decision. Now they just had to figure out how to rescue 32 people from a toxic planet while avoiding space pirates. But then again, Hansol thought, humans had always been good at doing impossible things. Hansol led his team through the toxic landscape, each step carefully planned. The heavy gravity pulled at his muscles, but his Earth-trained body handled it well. Behind him, Du-Yun moved smoothly, his crystal form adapting to the pressure. Jai-Yun floated in her reinforced container, scanning the air constantly. Yu-Jin brought up the rear, her metallic form reflecting the strange green light of the atmosphere. "There's a pocket of acid gas ahead," Jai-Yun warned, her cloud form turning dark with concentration. "We need to go around it. Turn left at the next broken tower." Hansol looked at their standard-issue equipment. On a normal training mission, it would have been more than enough. But this was different. They needed to think differently. "Du-Yun," Hansol said, "can you use your crystal structure to split light in different directions?" On Earth, he had learned about how miners used mirrors to signal through deep tunnels. Du-Yun's crystal body sparkled as he understood. "Yes, I can reflect emergency signals through the toxic clouds. The survivors will know we're coming." Hansol then turned to Yujin. The colony's computer systems are damaged but not dead. Can you connect with them? Yujin pressed her metallic hand against a broken computer panel. Her skin rippled with silver patterns as she connected to the system. Most of it is destroyed, but I can access some emergency protocols. The pirates didn't think to destroy the basic systems. They reached a large mining tower. Its metal walls were covered in strange marks. Hansol remembered his survival training on Earth. These aren't random damage marks, he said. They're maintenance tunnels. The repair robots would use them to fix the tower. But they're too small for us, Du Yun said, examining the narrow passages. Hansol smiled. Too small for me, maybe, but perfect for some of us. He looked at Jai Yun. Her cloud form could easily move through the small spaces. Jai Yun's form brightened with understanding. I can flow through the tunnels and scout ahead. The maintenance paths might lead straight to the bunker. While Jai Yun explored, Hansol worked with their equipment. He connected their portable air filters to make a stronger unit. On Earth, he had learned about old mining techniques. Sometimes, the simplest solutions worked best. Look what I found. Jai Yun's voice came through their communicators. She had discovered an underground map in the maintenance tunnels. Yujin quickly downloaded it. The bunker has an emergency airlock, Yujin reported, her skin glowing with excitement. It's meant for repair robots, but we can use it. Du Yun used his crystal body to send light signals down the maintenance tunnel. Soon, they received an answer from below. The survivors had seen their signal. Hope was possible. Hansol checked their modified equipment one last time. His great-grandfather would have been proud. The old Earth saying was true. Necessity was the mother of invention. They had taken standard academy equipment and turned it into real rescue gear. The pirates destroyed the main entrance thinking no one could survive out here, Hansol said. They didn't count on a team with our abilities. They didn't expect a Deathworlder who thinks like an old Earth miner. The ground shook as another explosion lit up the toxic sky. The pirates were still destroying evidence, but they were looking in the wrong place. Hansol's team had found another way. Through maintenance tunnels and computer systems, using crystal light and cloud form scouts. Ready? Hansol asked his team. They all nodded. Together, they had turned their different species' limitations into advantages. Now it was time to put their plan into action. The real rescue mission was about to begin. The maintenance tunnel led them to a small emergency airlock. Hansol examined the old metal door while Yujin connected to its control panel. The airlock was designed for repair robots, but it would have to work for their rescue mission. I can open it, Yujin said, her metallic fingers spreading across the controls. But the power is very low. We will only get one chance. Jai Yun returned from scouting the tunnel ahead. Her cloud form swirled with excitement. The survivors are just beyond the next chamber. I saw them through a crack in the wall. There are many different species huddled together. Hansol checked his suit's oxygen meter. The toxic atmosphere had been hard on their equipment. How many people exactly? He asked. 32, Du Yun answered, his crystal form glowing as he reflected light signals from the survivors. They're telling me there are 15 adults and 17 children. Most of them are from low-gravity worlds. Hansol thought carefully. This was the hardest part of their mission. The survivors weren't like him. They couldn't handle the heavy gravity and toxic air. Even with survival suits, moving them would be dangerous. First, we need to make sure they can breathe, Hansol said. He opened his emergency pack and pulled out the air filters they had modified. Du Yun, can you connect these to the bunker's air system? Du Yun took the filters. His crystal hands worked quickly, linking the devices together. Yes, but they won't last long. Maybe 1 hour. Yujin's skin turned bright silver as she accessed more of the colony systems. I found something. There's an old transport tube near here. It was used to move minerals to the surface. Can we use it? Hansol asked. If I reroute emergency power, yes. It could carry people to our crashed pod. Yu-Jin's face showed hope. The tube is shielded. It would protect them from the toxic air. The airlock opened with a loud hiss. The team entered a dark chamber. Han Sol's helmet light showed scared faces looking back at them. The survivors had sealed themselves in this room when the pirates attacked. Their air was almost gone. A tall being stepped forward. "I am Head Miner Tai Yang," he said weakly. "We thought no one would find us. The pirates destroyed everything." "We're cadets from the Galactic Defense Academy," Han Sol explained. "We're here to help, but we need to move fast." They quickly explained their plan. Du Yun would use his crystal form to create a light path to the transport tube. Jai Yun would scout ahead through small spaces, checking for dangers. Yu Jin would control the tube's systems. Han Sol would help carry those too weak to walk. "The gravity will be very hard on you," Han Sol warned the survivors. "But it's only a short distance to the transport tube. Then we can get you to our pod." They moved carefully through the dark tunnels. Han Sol carried 3 small children, their bodies light in the gravity he was used to. Du Yun's crystal form lit the way, while Jai Yun's cloud form checked each turn was safe. When they reached the transport tube, Yu Jin connected to its controls. "Ready," she said. "But we must hurry. The power won't last long." One by one, they helped the survivors into the tube. Han Sol made sure the children went first. The tube would carry them safely to the surface, protected from the toxic air. "The pirates might hear the tube working," Du Yun warned. "Then we'll deal with them," Han Sol said firmly. "We didn't come this far to fail now." As the last group of survivors entered the tube, Han Sol heard a distant sound. Ships were coming. The pirates had heard them after all. The rescue mission wasn't over yet. The sound of pirate ships grew louder as Han Sol and his team rushed the last survivors into the transport tube. Through the toxic clouds above, they could see the shapes of 3 small attack vessels approaching their position. "The tube is too noisy," Du Yun said, his crystal form vibrating with worry. "They must have detected its power signature." Han Sol looked at the rescued colonists huddled in their crashed pod. Most were still weak from their time in the bunker. They needed more time to get everyone safely aboard and ready for evacuation. "Yu Jin," Han Sol called. "Can you send false readings to confuse their sensors?" Yu Jin pressed her metallic hands against the colony's remaining computer systems. Her skin flickered with effort. "Yes, I can make it look like the power signatures are coming from several places at once." The first pirate ship fired a warning shot. The blast hit a nearby tower, sending broken metal flying everywhere. Han Sol remembered his combat training at the academy. Most pirates relied too much on their advanced technology. They didn't expect anyone to fight back in such harsh conditions. "Jai Yun," Han Sol said, "can you use your cloud form to make the toxic gas thicker in some areas? Create cover for us." Jai Yun moved quickly, her form spreading out to gather and direct the poisonous clouds. Soon, thick green walls of gas surrounded their position, making it harder for the pirates to see them. "They're landing," Du Yun reported, using his crystal form to peek through the gas. 3 ships, probably 12 pirates total. Han Sol smiled. On Earth, he had learned about ancient warriors who used their environment against stronger enemies. Now he would use the planet's deadly conditions to protect the survivors. "The pirates will have to wear protective suits," he explained to his team. "But their suits aren't made for this gravity. They'll be slow and clumsy." The team worked quickly. Du Yun used his crystal body to reflect light in confusing patterns, making it hard for the pirates to aim. Jai Yun created paths of breathable air for the survivors, while filling other areas with thick toxic gas. Yu Jin sent false signals to the pirate ships, making them think there were power sources all around them. The pirates split up to search the area, exactly as Han Sol had hoped. Their expensive suits couldn't handle the gravity well. They stumbled and moved slowly, cursing in their communicators. Now, Han Sol whispered to his team, "Just like we practiced." They sprang their trap. Jai-yun suddenly moved her toxic clouds, revealing some pirates while blinding others. Du-yun flashed brilliant light patterns, confusing their targeting systems. Yu-jin sent false alarms to their suits, making them think their air was running out. The pirates panicked. They weren't used to fighting in conditions like this. Some ran back to their ships, while others fired wildly into the clouds. But their shots went wide, their aim ruined by the heavy gravity. Han Sol moved through the chaos confidently. His Earth-trained body handled the gravity with ease. He disabled 2 pirates' suit systems before they could even turn around. Another tried to fight him hand-to-hand, but couldn't match his strength in the heavy gravity. Academy ships detected. Yu-jin suddenly announced, her skin bright with joy. They found our emergency beacon. Through the toxic clouds, they saw the welcome sight of Academy rescue ships entering the atmosphere. The remaining pirates fled to their vessels, not wanting to face official Academy forces. As the rescue ships landed, Han Sol looked at his team with pride. They had saved 32 lives using nothing but their unique abilities and some clever thinking. Sometimes, he realized, being from a death world wasn't a disadvantage at all. It just meant you were prepared for anything. 1 week after the rescue mission, Han Sol and his team stood in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Defense Academy. The hall was filled with students, teachers, and officials from many worlds. The rescued colonists sat in a special section, their faces showing gratitude and respect. Instructor Minho's energy form glowed brighter than usual as he addressed the assembly. Today, we honor 4 cadets who turned a training exercise into something extraordinary. They showed us that true strength comes in many forms. Han Sol stood tall beside his teammates. Du-yun's crystal form sparkled in the hall's light, while Jai-yun's cloud form moved gracefully in her container. Yu-jin's metallic skin shone with a proud golden color. When we first accepted students from high-gravity worlds, Minho continued, some questioned our decision. They thought Deathworlders would be too different, too dangerous. He paused, looking at Han Sol. But this mission proved something important. It showed that our differences make us stronger. Headminer Taiyang stepped forward to speak. Our colony had the best security systems and the most advanced technology. But when the pirates attacked, none of that saved us. We were saved by 4 cadets who used their natural abilities in ways we never imagined. The Academy's High Council presented each cadet with a special medal. But more important than the medals was the change Han Sol saw in his fellow students' faces. They no longer looked at him with fear. Instead, they showed respect and understanding. The Academy is changing our training programs, Minho announced. We will now include Earth survival techniques in our curriculum. Sometimes, the old ways are the best ways. Sometimes, being from a primitive world means being better prepared. After the ceremony, Han Sol found his roommate Du-yun talking with a group of students. They were asking him about the rescue mission, eager to learn how a crystal being and a human had worked together so well. Han Sol taught me that strength isn't just about physical power, Du-yun told them. It's about adapting and working together. His Earth techniques seemed simple, but they worked better than our advanced technology. Jai-yun and Yu-jin joined them, along with many other students from different species. The group began sharing stories about their homeworlds, each explaining how their special abilities could be useful in unexpected ways. On my world, one student said, "We live in permanent darkness. I never thought that would be useful until I heard how you navigated those dark tunnels." Another student added, "My species can withstand extreme cold. Maybe that could help in other types of rescue missions." Han Sol smiled as he listened to the conversations. The rescue mission had changed more than just training procedures. It had changed how different species saw each other. Being different wasn't a weakness anymore. It was a strength to be celebrated. Later that evening, Han Sol sent a message to his family on Earth. He told them about the rescue mission, about his teammates, and about the changes at the Academy. He explained how the survival skills he learned on Earth had helped save 32 lives. His great-grandfather's old mining lamp sat on his desk, a reminder of Earth's history of rescue missions. Now those same skills were being taught at the most advanced academy in the galaxy. The word Deathworlder was no longer an insult. It had become a sign of respect. As Han Solo looked out at the alien stars, he knew that somewhere out there, another rescue mission was waiting. And next time, the Academy would be better prepared. Because they had learned that the greatest strength comes not from advanced technology, but from working together and using each being's unique abilities.